Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live. Arsenal sit top of the league. Liverpool fans are in meltdown after losing 2 games or 3 games in the space of a week. They lost to Chelsea. Manchester United are back to winning ways, kind of. It's feeling a bit Freaky Friday right now, the Twilight Zone. But it's not. It's a marvellous Monday. You're joined by Garth. How you doing, Garth?
Yeah, good, mate. Well, I'll say good. I want a no-carbs diet, so I'm hangry right now.
No carbs diet and a Man United fan at this moment. You put yourself through some torture. Torture. The days are going to feel long. You're going to start getting grouchy, tired all the time.
It's been 48 hours. It's been 48 hours. I'm already like kicking the dog. You know what I mean? Punching walls. No, I haven't got a dog.
No, we're joking. No domestic violence jokes here.
This is a joke. There's no domestic abuse going down because I'm not allowed a potato. Like, none of that's happening.
Kicking the dog. You've got a dog. Seeing things.
Clips out of context. Luckily, we're not that big yet. But that's going viral now. Some papers tomorrow. YouTuber.
Absolute filth out of the way before we sell our souls and go commercial. You know what I mean? You lot sold out. Yeah, if we start with the rough jokes, that means we're making money. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, happy days.
We've got sponsors we've got to keep happy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Arsenal sit top of the league. Feels good. We're going to be joined by Steve. Steve wants to get on, currently having a bit of a malfunction at the moment. But it's always the way. It's always the way. Man United won on the weekend against Sunderland. A good victory, a clean sheet, and a new goalkeeper. Big hair. I noticed the big hair. It looked like United Strand golf. Is that you resorted to? Chelsea back to winning ways. Are they in this race? Are they in this title race? I get a bit annoyed by the way that Chelsea keep on dipping their Chelsea fans, yeah, not Chelsea, because Chelsea can't control their fans, yeah, and your leash. Like I'm getting annoyed of Chelsea fans dipping their toe in and out of this transfer race, like because they're not in it apparently. And then the other day, I see a couple of Chelsea fans after Arsenal, like a couple of Arsenal fans in their comment section said, "Oh, thanks for doing us a favour there. Like we needed that. Like great win for Chelsea." Goes, "You weren't doing us a favour. We don't doing you a favour. We're doing us a favour because we're in this race." Oh, are you? Okay, that's good. That's good because I keep hearing the other. Like we're this new model now, so we're not really in it. We're in it to buy a player. This 2 billion don't really count because a lot of them players, $1 billion pounds of them players were for just to sell on. I don't care. That's not, that doesn't work like that. You don't get away with that. How dare you? So we're going to be discussing. And obviously, Man United won, so we've got to talk about that. First and foremost, Garth, this one's going to be enjoyable because you're a Man United fan. Liverpool fans in meltdown right now. I spoke to you about it yesterday. It's thrown me. Like I really didn't expect this. Liverpool have lost 3 games in 1 week, one of them being in Europe as well. 1-0 lost against Galatasaray, a loss against Crystal Palace, and a loss against Chelsea on the weekend. And because of that, we've got Liverpool fans calling Arne Slot a fraud. He's on fraud watch. He's not this genius that people speak about, talking about Mo Salah needs to be dropped and taught a lesson because he's not working hard enough for the team. It's not going as well as it felt just a week ago when Liverpool fans were doing videos. The switch up, Liverpool fans were doing videos asking, "What with 5 points ahead already? What we're going to do when we're in form?" So, yeah. That one.
I mean, the first question I've got to ask is the era of dominance already over? Is it?
Yeah, they said they were going to dominate. Well, let's go back to a podcast I heard at the end of last season. I would allow Arsenal to have this Premier League because we're going to dominate for the next 10 years. Well, can we have that? Can we have that?
Listen, the head loss. the head loss is crazy, man. It's 3 games. Like, what were they expecting to go unbeaten? Their defense has been shaky since the Charity Shield. If you remember, I think I said it to you privately or on the show. Like, I was not impressed with that defense in the Charity Shield.
But we
Virgil,
spoke about the defense previously. Like, Gurkish, you're a big fan of, but we both spoke about in detail about Jeremy Frimpong and the fact that he's a winger and not really a right back in a 4.
Well, he's not playing right back, is he, for him at the moment? It's happened after 2 games. He's already right wing, exactly what we said would happen, because it happens every club he goes to. Kirkes has not hit the ground running. It's disappointing for him. There's no 2 ways about it. I mean, it's big shoes to fill, obviously, Robertson, but it's slightly disappointing. Virgil Van Ice Spice is out there twerking for his dinner, which is. I thought you'd like that.
and Mo Salah, he signed his new long-term contract with an Aubameyang.
But look, this is the mark of real champions. Obviously, they're going to have to get through this bit. They've got a very good squad. They've got to integrate their players into this team. I mean, as a Man United fan, loving the fact that Wirtz is doing nothing at the moment. But a lot of people are trusting.
We'll talk about Wirtz a little bit deeper in a minute.
But the head loss is crazy. To be acting like you should sack the manager who's just won the league after 3 defeats and you're still in second, it just reeks of, I don't know, entitlement. It reeks of absolutely, you know what I mean, bumholes flapping. Like, it's weird. It's really weird, to be quite honest with you. Arne Slot deserves. Listen, we all mocked it when they got him because we were like, "Who's this? What's he going to do?" He's won the league at Cantor as well. He deserves far more respect. If any Liverpool fan is out there seriously saying, "Oh, maybe he ain't the man. It's time for him to go," you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. You're completely out of your mind. You know what I mean? How many leagues did Klopp win? Because I believe it was 1.
One. And you're already. This is what I can't understand about the modern day football fan. It's like you can have your concerns about the current tactics. You can have your concerns about things you may have been worried about last season. But to use terms like he's on fraud watch, it's like, can you not articulate it a little bit better than that? Turn around about the manager who just won you the league, the second Premier League you've only ever won, and you're saying he's on fraud watch. Like you said, it's a serious lack of respect for someone who's won you the same amount of Premier Leagues that your legend of a manager won. Like, it's mental.
The man that Liverpool fans will put up there with Wenger, with Fergie, with Pep, as one of the best to ever do it in the league. Slot's won exactly the same amount. Obviously, he hasn't got the Champions League or Cup success that Slot's had, but I mean, it's crazy. Look, it's fun to watch. All of the Liverpool content creators. I mean, I feel like they're doing it for clickbait, but the 2 Irish lads are both acting like it's the worst thing they've ever seen in footballing terms.
Paddy
Murphy, is it?
Paddy Murphy and Jonathan Morley.
Morley, that's it. Obviously, Anfield agendas out there acting like it's the worst thing he's ever seen. It's a 3-game losing streak. Listen, they're going to be back on track. They're going to be back on track after the international break because they're playing Man United at Anfield. So they'll be getting them wins back. There's no 2 ways about it. But look, monumental head loss. It's outrageous, if you ask me. And like they have got problems, but none of it, from my point of view at the moment, none of their problems are terminal in any way, shape, or form.
No. It's definitely cosmetic. We're joined by Steve K after a long breakaway. He's recharged his batteries and he's come back and Arsenal are top of the league. Steve, do not jinx this. All right? Do not jinx this. It's been going well. We're currently talking about Liverpool's head loss after 3 losses in 1 week. We've seen fans say that Arne Slot's on fraud watch, that Mo Salah needs to be benched and taught a lesson. They're not happy with a lot of the decisions the manager's making. Some Liverpool fans going a bit over the top after 3 losses in the space of a week and only 2 of them in the Premier League, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it's I've witnessed some of the head losses, and look, I mean, it's early days. I mean, there's not much more to be said than that regarding that part of it. But yeah, I mean, it's a little worrying. I mean, some constructive criticism, some looking into what's going wrong and why. You could understand that. You just said there, 3 losses in a row is not good for any team. Let alone the champions, let alone Liverpool. If it was my team, if it was any team in the Premier League, whether you're at the middle, whether you're at the bottom, 3 in a row is, a little bit concerning. You want to turn it around quickly, but they've not been right, have they? From the off. I mean, that's plain to see. And I think the way I was sort of looking at it was that, let's see what comes as the games trickle on, through the first part of the season. And yeah, things are starting. They've got to start to getting better. That's for sure. I'm pretty confident that will come. They've got too many good players to not get better. We've seen the the online banter going on about Burks and Isaac and so on and so forth. And look, it's 6 games in. You know how these days people like to jump on the boat and start slagging off players, but especially these days. But we've got to give them time. But yeah, I mean, from a football point of view, it is, and from Arne Slot's point of view, let's look at it from his point of view. He'd be concerned. There's no doubt about that. That he will be sitting at home tonight, whatever he's doing, whether he's sitting with his missus watching the telly, whatever he's doing, he'll be sitting there and he'll be concerned about the start of the season. But they're second, they're 1 point off, so he'll also be thinking of that. But looking from people like us who watched the game for a long while, we know they've got to improve. They can't keep going on like this. And the fixtures coming up are not easy at all. They could have done with quite a few, maybe some easier ones. But yeah, it's interesting anyway. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, it is. The loss against Crystal Palace was. Crystal Palace is a bit of a bogey team for Liverpool anyway. And I think they've taken points from in recent history. And Chelsea, it's Chelsea that on any given day, Chelsea can turn up and really give you a game. This is not the Chelsea 2 years ago. It's poor, but and it's concerning in terms of the fact that if you're going for a league, you don't have that many opportunities to lose.
No.
But I don't see this league going as we have done in recent years, where it's you've got. I think it's going to be a lot of twists and turns. I think we're going to see a lot of different people, not a lot of different people, but I think we're going to see different people at the top of the league. And yeah, it's a long season. It's 6 games in or 7 games in, and I understand the slight concerns because I think I personally think we spoke about it earlier, a bit earlier. I think Liverpool fans underestimated the replacing 2 of the best right backs the Premier League has had in 20 years. Now, I'm not saying the best, but Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold are up there with the best that we've had around in a while. And I think they were quite dismissive of Trent's defensive attributes, and they thought they could replace that with Frimpong, who me and Garth have spoken about, is a right winger or a right midfielder at best. And Kirkes, look, it's big shoes to fill, Robertson. It's not going very well at all. You've lost a year in Virgil van Dijk. They were slow. Again, St. Garth brought up last week's show, the week before, when it's about Mark Gahey. If they would have pulled the trigger on Mark Gahey 2-3 weeks before, given Crystal Palace an opportunity, to get a replacement or offered more money, they would have got their man, but they didn't. Konate's got his head gone in Madrid, and you can see that he's double timing on Duolingo, and he's not his head's not in Liverpool anymore. And then you've got Wirtz, who they're trying to farm in, and he's just not doing it. And you don't really got that time to bed in like that. And especially when you cost that amount of money, you need to be bedding in a lot quicker. And that's what you pay the money for. You pay for a ready-made player to fit in the league. So I think they've got a few troubles there, and they're trying to, and a few teething problems with bringing in players, and the fact that the two players that they've given the biggest contracts that Liverpool have ever had are a year on and a year older. So yeah. It's a culmination of a lot of things, but I do think the head loss is way over the top. And I usually expect a lot more calmness from Liverpool than this. So maybe it's the newer fans, the younger fans that are making the most noise. Because it's not something I'm used to seeing Liverpool fans rattled this much so early over the Premier League. Interesting. Garth, we were speaking about Florian Wirtz there, a player that you must not speak of. But now it's about time. We're 7 games in. I think overall in all competitions, 10 games in. So I think it's a fair cross section to look at. It's not looking good, if I'm honest. You mentioned to me, because I didn't watch the Charity Shield, and you said the Community Shield. It looks a bit powder puff, like nice touch, but you didn't think he was going to translate that well in the Premier League, and so far it's not looking that great. And if I'm honest, I don't see it. Like even at best, I don't see where you're getting 120 million pounds worth of player there. He's going to have to be absolutely phenomenal with the attributes that he has, from what I can see, to be a real success in the Premier League. And I just don't see where it's coming. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, I hadn't watched any Florian Wirtz really, apart from the occasional Germany game here and there, maybe in the World Cup or the European, if it, you know what I mean, maybe a Champions League game. I couldn't say that I'd seen a lot of him. So all of my opinion is based on what I've seen of him so far in England. And for me, he's lightweight.
Yeah, he
doesn't have strength on the ball. He's very nice. Like he's got a silky touch, and this and that. But like people I trust say he's a very, very good player. But I am not seeing it at the moment. I'm really not. I mentioned it to you last time. I think that there's a history of players, the attacking players, who look very good in Germany and then come to the Premier League and don't translate it at all. And Man United have got 4 of them. This is what I said. Like Kagawa, Mkhitaryan, Sancho, you know, like you can pick out players like Michael Ballack, but that's not the sort of player I'm talking about here. You know, what I mean, you can pick out players like
a very English type player where he's very physical.
You know what I mean? Yeah, Hargreaves come from Bayern Munich, like, but these are not the sort of players I'm talking about. I'm talking about the attacking players. Now, will he improve? I hope so. You know, but I want to see the best players play in the Premier League. But so far, and I believe it was saying, he said, I've not seen anything from him that's any better than just your standard good Premier League midfielder. I've seen no hint of world class from him, which is what he's meant to be. He is whatever it is, 7th most expensive player of all time. He destroyed Germany, from what I understand. But yeah, like if you want to get like technical about it, like there's a reason people are putting stats up that are about his runs and his forward progression without the ball, and so because he's not doing anything with the ball, and he's meant to be your main attacking midfielder. I think his inclusion in the squad has damaged Salah's role in the team, because a lot is trying to go through Wirtz instead of Salah now, and that's what's damaging Salah's game, in my opinion, and vice versa. They're not mixing at all. They're trying him in a deeper position as well, from what he played in Germany, and I can tell you from Paul Pogba experience that don't work. If his outright position is an out-and-out attacking midfielder, don't try and play in centre midfield. It don't work, because it doesn't happen. And especially, my main concern, I'll come back to it quickly, my main concern is I think he's lightweight. I've seen him bustled off the ball far too many times. He doesn't seem to have the ability to stand up. Ride the challenge, bounce off the defender. Standard cliches you've heard in the Premier League for the last 30 years. Now, will that come with time? Maybe. We hope so. Well, I don't. I'm a Man United fan. I hope they crash and burn. But we want to see the best players performing at their best.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of things about him, so I do want to see him perform. But yes, thus far, I've seen nothing to suggest he's 116 or whatever, he's 120 million pound player.
Yeah, the best I've seen him was when he was sort of a bit free, coming off the flanks and stuff like that. So maybe I spoke about it the other day with you. Maybe it's a long-term thing to be a bit wider in the more Salah position. But I agree. I think it's impacted Salah's game. Last season, Szoboszlai was the one who was the clean-up man for Salah, feeding the balls as well. So Salah could be a bit more further upfield. So all that chasing back, which everyone's looking for now, he wasn't doing that as much last season. So you're asking for a year older Salah, when you want his goals to now chase back more. That's the problem. Slot came in, brought in Szoboszlai to do his clean-up work and feed him balls. This season, now Szoboszlai's playing at right back, and now you got Wirtz in there. Like, you got two different right backs. You're not getting the balls that are fed over the defence for the front block on Trent, where you could just play over that block, or that press. Sorry. So there's loads of different factors which were helping you last year, helping you get out of positions last year that you haven't got because you're playing that Wirtz, and Wirtz isn't doing that job. There's so many different factors. Steve, Florian Wirtz, a very talented player, that's undeniable. Lovely touch, but is he made for the Premier League? Did you have concerns about him adapting to the league?
Well, yeah. I mean, your question here, mate, leads in perfectly to what I was what I wanted to say. So yeah, I didn't see a lot of Wirtz when he played for Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. I heard about people that watched him, and I agree with a lot of what Garth has said, in his analysis of him this season. Spot on. But I can remember people, colleagues and friends of the show, Marie, when I spoke to them about Florian Wirtz, it was always great talent. Could be this, could be that, taken the Bundesliga by storm. But everybody I spoke to was like, is he ready?
No.
Premier League.
That was a bit of a concern when Man City were after him a few years ago, weren't it?
Yeah. And that was everybody. And I can't remember anybody. I mean, Marie was someone who I can remember speaking to who clearly said that. Colleague of mine, Ronan Murphy, was another one, and Tom Webber, another one, who clearly has stated that little bit of trepidation about, yes, he's this, yes, he can do that, yes, he could be. But there was always that unsureness in their voices, that is he coming to the league too early, or is he a Premier League player at all? And it's okay when you hear of one person and then you think, well, okay, maybe they're wrong, maybe they're right. But the noise was too loud from too many people. So basing it off that, from what we're seeing now, they're on their way to being spot on. Absolutely bang on, spot on. Now, obviously, watching football as long as I have, as long as you have, we're all like, I'm going to park that. It looks like this is what it's going to be. But I still want to see with my own eyes if he comes, what he does now. Because with my eyes, I haven't seen him. But because people in the Bundesliga who report on it, work on it, correspond on it, tell you this multiple times, you have to take that into consideration. It has to stay up there in a large part of your brain. So it's concerning.
Yeah,
I think what you said, could hopefully for Liverpool's case and for his case, I think when Salah leaves, I think he could be a better player. I think he's been brought in as that possible Salah replacement eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it doesn't look like the two work together, like you said. And if you put Verts out on that right, he all of a sudden does become that maybe. I mean, he's never really a main man at Liverpool, but maybe that little bit more of a vocal point for the club where he isn't now. You might see the best of him.
Yeah.
So from my point of view, I won't be surprised if we look at him at the end of this season, after all what I've heard and what I've said there, that we'll be like, yeah, he's not had the greatest seasons, has he? You know, and then you can decide whether he's had a disaster or whether we can see some progress. And yeah, because sometimes it takes a year, but the point of him being lightweight, those concerns from people who watch him week in, week out, again, it's another
They're
thing
not
that's
going away.
interesting.
Yeah, it don't surprise me, Steve. Oh, sorry, Keir. It don't surprise me because honestly, that's my first fault. Like Keir said, the first time I watched him in that Charity Shield, the first thing I said to Keir was like, bit powder puff. Like it don't look like he's got that strength for it. But so yeah, don't surprise me. I didn't realize people have been saying that about him. So yeah,
one
me
point someone made the other day. It was a pro, and they said he lacks maturity in his game. There's certain times in the game where they're watching him, and he kind of just drifts around, feels like he's a bit lost. And then if he's standing next to a player, it's like, what's he doing there? He's too close. Like, what are you doing there? Like, it feels like he doesn't know where to be. He doesn't feel comfortable with where to go. Like he wants to boss it. Like he goes here, the ball's going to go there. It's like he's just. It's like that. When they said that, it was like you've got a little kid on the pitch who's just a bit dotting around, not really knowing where he should be and how he can impact the game. And I'm sure it's playing on his mind.
Very lightweight, isn't he? I don't know, mate, which one of you made that point.
Yeah, Garth. He said powder puff, and then I watched him, and I was like, oh, do you know what? And I think I said to you, I said, you paid 130 million pounds for a Fabio Vieira, and that's not that's not a dig, but it's like from what I'm seeing, I'm like, I'm not seeing anything which is pulling up trees. And when I say he may go onto the flanks and be a bit more something out there, again, that's to fit him in, to find a role for him, because I don't see him playing in that attacking midfield role. I think they may have been thinking there's going to be a bit of a Bobby Firmino type player in there. He's not a Bobby Firmino. He's not a silky on the ball like that. He doesn't have that attacking mindset. Bobby Firmino was a phenomenon, like that one-on-one Brazilian samba skill. Verts hasn't got that. He's very technically gifted and things like that, and he's got skills, but he's not a tricky and flamboyant player like that. And when we talk about on the flanks, we've not got someone who's going to put the burners on and absolutely crucify fullbacks week in, week out. It would be a cultured winger. So again, like when you're talking about paying 100+ million, and there's no guarantees in football, but that's one thing it should be guaranteed. If you're paying 100 million, you guarantee this player is going to be fitting into your league because you've done that research, because you've put or you've done your due diligence. And the reason why there are eyes on him so far, because you don't really get that time when you're a 100+ million pound player. You've got to kind of hit the ground running. And if you're one of the most expensive players in Premier League history, then on that first season, you've got to be smashing in goal contributions as well. And it's fair that he does get criticism at the end of the season, or Liverpool gets criticism on the fact that they've paid this much money for a player who doesn't suit the league, who may not suit the league, and there's been a bit of a burden on their team. And it's not all his fault at all of why Liverpool are in bad form. I think a lot of it comes down to those fullbacks. But yeah,
Jack Grealish got a lot, didn't he? Jack Grealish got a lot of stick in his first season. But and then obviously I think it was his second, third season. He obviously did well after that, and then got injured and tailed off. And I'm pleased to see him do well now. But if you look at Grealish, when he wasn't playing well, he's bulked up, he's strong, he's big, he's bulky. Verts ain't got that to sort of play off of. You know what I mean? People will bounce off Grealish. Do you know what I mean? If not that, he can. I find them similar. I think he's got. I think because of their price tags and their first seasons. I think what Grealish has got, that apart from the Premier League experience, he's got a bit about him. Do you know what I mean? He's hard to shrug off the
Grealish has
ball.
got an
You can't push
attitude.
him off
Grealish
the
has
ball.
got a personality, and that he gives that off in his
He's
football.
more Tyler Diblin, isn't he? Florian Wirtz than Grealish.
Honestly, it's not even that. It's not even that. He's not even that. And this is what I mean. We're trying to be respectful. We're trying to be like constructive in our criticisms, but it's going to get to a point where it's good. There's no beating around the bush. He's not been good enough, and that's what it's going to come to in the end. The this and maybe this and maybe this and maybe this is what we're saying right now. But come the end of the season, or even halfway through the season, if he hasn't been putting up the numbers which he needs to be, then the criticisms are going to be more than fair, because you can't pay 130 million euros for a player and then not do well. It's catastrophic for Liverpool.
Do you still think the criticism shouldn't be so much on? I had this conversation with someone the other day. Do you think the criticism should be on the club, on Slot, on Richard Hughes for bringing him, for paying that money for him, or do you play this player themselves? We know the people online will blame the player, but can you actually blame the player?
Garth, you can have this one.
What, for the fee that they paid for him, or for his performances?
Well, it's a bit of both, isn't it? I suppose it comes down to both.
Yeah. I mean, listen, obviously, I'm sure you know, Steve, I have this conversation a lot in one of our groups that we're in with people, and I'm sorry, like, I understand that he didn't ask to be bought for £116 million. I get that. That's down to the club. But when you are purchased for that amount of money, there is a high expectation that you've got of performances that you've got to deliver on. The reason Anthony was derided when he came to Man United weren't just because he weren't much good. It's because we paid 80 mil for him. That's the reason Pogba is a divisive figure at Man United with fans is because he didn't do enough to warrant the £89 million transfer fee. The reason we're talking about Jack Grealish like this is because has he done enough in his career at Man City, even though he won 5 leagues in a treble or whatever it was? Did he do enough to warrant £100 million? You had it with Declan Rice. Chelsea have got it with Enzo Fernandez. I'm sorry, like, is it fair? Probably not. The fee is negotiated between the clubs, but it is also, he can say no to coming. He understands that pressure at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I'm hearing all sorts of numbers on his wages as well.
Yeah, like, crazy numbers. In fact,
crazy numbers.
I'll pull up the thing about he's been paid.
So his performances on the pitch come down to him, unfortunately. Whether he's been played like this has always been my my argument with Nathan, friend of the show, about Paul Pogba, where he was played out of position. Yeah, but he was meant to be one of the best players in the world. Like, it's not like we were playing him centre back; we were playing him in centre midfield. So I get, because I will say that we didn't help him by playing him out of position, but I'm still expecting to see more. People are putting up names that didn't do well, like Thierry Henry in their first 10 games. Big difference. Although it was an Arsenal club record fee, which it was, we were seeing things from Thierry Henry. We were seeing his ability on the pitch. I'm seeing nothing from Florian Wirtz. So that's the difference. So yeah, look, it's not his fault he got bought for 116 mil. Of course it's not. I mean, they've got an even more ridiculous. I only found out what the add-ons was. I said to Kid the other day, do you know what the add-ons for the extra 16 mil are, Steve?
Oh, yeah.
It could go 130 million.
No,
but that's if they win 4 Premier Leagues in a row. It's
domination.
We're
going to pay that.
That's the add-on.
Yeah, that's the add-on. But jokes aside, that shows what Liverpool are expecting from him. That shows what they're expecting, because they think that could happen. You know, that's what Leverkusen think could happen. So look, he's not up to scratch at the moment. There's no two ways about it. I've got to be careful because it's Man United next, and you know he's bagging a hat trick and getting 2 assists in a 9-0.
I think what's a good point, Keys. I think a really good point that Garth makes that that it's probably more so something people should look at more than the actual fee. Garth mentioned it there, and is the wages. If your agent's going in and sitting there, and and you're saying I want 200 bags a week, and you're going, yeah, get 200 bags a week for me, mate. Yeah, do that, get that. Because Liverpool ain't done that. Liverpool probably got in first off with saying, yeah, we give you 120, Florida. And he's going,
100%.
Excuse my French, bollocks, that bollocks. You fucking win more on 230, mate. Where are you going now? Do you know what I mean? And then they then they negotiate. So if you've got your agent in there and you're, haggling over what to earn and what you're going to earn at the club, then then you should be performing if you're on big wages. I mean, and the reason why, just as an example, the players are different. You got Julian Timber, who's on 90 grand a week at Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? And look at his performance level. So people who are on 200 bags, you should be definitely performing.
Yeah. That's a very good point, actually. If you've got your agent in there to negotiate that 200 grand a week, then you best be playing at that level. And you brought something up there. I see a lot of people comparing using the Thierry Henry, the Dennis Bergkamp. There's a couple of other players that have had slow starts. Stop. It's the worst comparisons ever, because all of those players that you keep on mentioning, they all showed something. All you're talking about is a goal and assist. Yeah, they all showed something. Dennis Bergkamp, his first touch, people knew he was going to be something special. Thierry Henry was moved onto the wing when he first started, out of position to then learn the Premier League, get used to those one-on-ones before he was moved up front. You saw the player that was going to be. Plus, he had previous in World Cup. Plus, he had previous in other leagues as well, in the Champions League. Like, it's not the same. It's not the same. He just clutches at straws there, drowning.
I'll just say as well, I'm not falling for this Liverpool fan propaganda around Wirtz as well. Like, I know he walked off to a round of applause, a standing ovation, man of the match.
I keep seeing that.
He was on the bench last game. The manager benched him. That tells you everything you need to know. It just shows he isn't performing. Now, like we're all saying, we're all tentatively stepping around it because we've all heard how good he can be. His talent and his potential ability is undeniable. But if you're asking me today, right now, is he any good? The answer is no. The answer is he hasn't done anything thus far to warrant anywhere near the fee that he's on and the wages that he's on.
Yeah, very, very true. Now we move on to Arsenal sitting top of the league. Steve, it's been the turnaround in the last 2 weeks has been crazy. Arsenal were accused of, Arteta's being accused of being a coward, being overly pragmatic, told that we would never win the league under this manager. Now we're not. But the 2 weeks since have shown that those comments were a bit too quick in terms of writing off Arsenal in this Premier League title already after 6 games. A big win against Newcastle last week, followed by a win against West Ham, which I think from the outside seems pretty routine from people. But if they were to stand that West Ham are the only team that have beaten Arsenal back to back in the Premier League away from home or at home at the Emirates Stadium, then it's one of those bogey teams, because it doesn't matter who the manager was at West Ham. It seems to be they turned up at the Emirates Stadium for a nice day out and completely ruined our weekend every time. But it wasn't to be this time, and it was such a canter this time as well that fans were a bit annoyed that they didn't get to see an absolute drubbing of West Ham. But we got the win, 3 points, and sit in the top of the league before the international break. So it's a good end to the weekend, Steve.
Oh yeah. I mean, Arsenal fans are always going to want a bit more, wouldn't they? But it was routine. It wasn't a routine performance. It's a performance that you would expect Arsenal to win. But as you said, they've turned up, and they've turned us over quite a few times at the Emirates Stadium in the past. So it was one of those things that was nice to get out of the way. A nice little 2-0 win, that took us top of the table. Will go down very nicely just before the international break. But yeah, I mean, I've noticed it's gone very quiet online. You know, people now, I'm finding, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. I think Garth used it, and I'm going to use it in an Arsenal sense. People are now very tentative about what to say about Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know,
I've noticed that.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
There's a quietness. Normally,
Yeah.
before what you get, if you're listening to, you know, in the morning, like myself, when you're having a shave or anything, and you turn on the radio, and you know, there's always, and you're listening to the debate shows on, whether it's on the TV, on Sky Sports, etc., etc. Someone's always first to sort of jump down Arsenal for something after someone's had a little introduction to what they've done or won, whether it's a home or whether it's away. Now there seems to be like I'm waiting for the, well, no, what are you going to say about us now? You know, because I'm just so used to it. People having a go at something. There's a lovely quietness about it with all these people who used to slag us off.
Enjoy it.
I think
it won't last long.
Yeah, I think what it is, I think like they're like, I think
unsure of where it's going to go.
This is probably the biggest chance probably now Arsenal have got of winning the league. At this moment, look, let's get it right. 6-7 games in, so but if we're talking about this very moment, people seem to have this little bit of a fear to say anything bad about Arsenal, because I think a lot of the tests have been done. A lot of the things that have been weaknesses in the past, they've been ticked off. So there's not a lot really for people to ever go at Arsenal about, and it's lovely. It's lovely. The quietness is quite funny, but yeah, I mean, they're looking good. I mean, we do have to, you know, make the point that it is just 6 games and 7 games in, and you know, it'd be silly to say we're going to do this, we're going to win that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But look, at the moment, the player, I mean, every single player is playing well. Squad is ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, even as like an Arsenal fan, I mean, you know, it's not even me being biased. It's not even being having a red and white hat on. The squad is ridiculous. And this is the best chance they got of winning the league. And maybe there's a little bit of fear creeping into Liverpool when they look at it and say, go, do you know what I mean? Someone gets injured, someone comes in. I mean, the bench on the weekend, you know, it was just crazy. It was a crazy bench. And then the camera pans to the stand, and you've got Havertz, Jesus, Madueke, and Ikapi sitting there watching the game. And you're like, what?
Yeah, I know.
How are they going to fit? That's probably the biggest problem. Where are they going to fit all these players in? You've got to try and keep them happy somehow.
Yeah. I understand that concern. That concern was at the start of the season. But look, so far we've had an ACL injury, a captain that's gone down with 3 freakish injuries, twice on the shoulder, which is now healed, and then he's got a muscle injury on the knee, but it's from an impact. Yes,
is it a medial collateral ligament? They're saying, isn't it? That's what I read today. He's going to be out for a little bit. Odegaard.
I think eight weeks is saying.
A couple of months. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And it's an impact one. Like
they said what it is yet. I mean, it's a grade 1.
Yeah, medial collateral ligament.
Yeah.
I don't know the grade. No, I don't know the grade, Steve. No, but they did say a couple of months. Like he's looking like the layoff.
They've said that, have they? They've said a couple of months.
Well, I don't know if Arsenal said that. Obviously, this is paper talk. You know what I mean? Plus, Arteta does play his injuries very close to his chest, don't he? You know what I mean?
He does like to say, but they're saying this injury is
16 weeks.
Yeah, they're saying this injury is usually a maximum of 8 weeks. The way it happened.
I spoke to someone.
It's a nasty one, but it's a freakish one. It went into a 50-50 and he came out worse. Like, it's not. I know people attach that and they're concerned. Look, it was a little bit of a worry if that shoulder injury occurred again, but he went down on his shoulder and we saw we was all right. So it was like sweet. And again, he was having a good start to the game. So that's the frustration. It's stop-start. We've had Saka out. We've had Havertz out. But with those, we've said that Havertz should go and have surgery. Completely different. Ben White, who's been in and out of injury. Ben White would have played. Who else? Saliba injured. But like Mosquera's been able to come in. And the changes have been like for like. Yes, there's a difference in Mosquera and Saliba, but you still got a good quality defender to come in and play in his position. It's not impacting the team at all. So Ødegaard goes out the other day. Zubimendi comes in. Like it's brilliant.
What I mean, Zubimendi, just on him. I knew he was good when he was, in Spain. We spoke about him many times. But wow, talk about hit the ground running.
I said it on the show. I said it on the show. I think that Zubimendi is going to be one of our most impactful signings of the summer. I think he's going to have a lot to say in the team. He dictates play. He's just class, and there's still a lot more to come from him because I'm still seeing sometimes a player who's sort of shows a little bit of frustration when the ball's not moved fast enough after he's passed it on and he wants it to keep on, or something, or he's moved in position and they've not found him because he can see something else. And we've not seen too much of his, like we've seen a couple of dinks into the box and a couple of those lovely little through balls and stuff. He's got more of that in his locker. So yeah, it's exciting times. It's good to see. And yeah, happy days. Garth, Ewan Timber.
No,
I don't know if you know much about him. I spoke to you about him previously. How good's Ewan Timber, Garth? I'm just going to leave it as that.
I mean, he's not the best Timber brother, but he's all right. You know, I mean, his twin Quinton's the balder of the family, obviously. So, he's the left. You don't even want to. Yeah, listen. Obviously, anyone's watched the show knows what I think of Ewan Timber. I was telling both of these two about him before they signed him. There was some skepticism because there always is. You know what I mean? When someone's hyping a player up that massively, like I was. But he's yeah. I think yourself, Steve, asked the question the other day in like where would you rank him in world football at the moment in the right back position?
Yeah, because I was just sitting there, Garth, and I was generally trying to think of who was better. And
obviously you got Hakimi.
I kept saying to myself,
the obvious
there's
ones.
got to be someone. But at that particular point when I put that question in the group, mate, I generally, outside of Hakimi, I can't think of anybody.
I've got him. I don't disagree with you, and I wouldn't get into a debate about him being better than Hakimi in certain areas of his game. I really wouldn't. Hakimi's excellent. It's Hakimi, and then after that, you're getting into the realms of like Trent. Do you class Trent at that? Trent obviously has more in the attacking phase of his game. Clearly a better passer of the football than Jurriën Timber, but Jurriën Timber's also got that versatility. Like they try to play with Trent in midfield, it don't work.
Yeah,
Jurriën Timber. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it yet in play defensive midfield. Has he done that yet for Arsenal?
He moves into that, and he moves into during pre-season.
Yeah.
He the majority when he was left back, the majority of time he sat in that centre midfield.
Yeah, then that's what he can do. Like he can play across the back line, left back, centre back, right back. Right back's his number one position, definitely. Then centre back, then left back. But he can also play defensive midfielder. He can play number 6 like properly as well. Honestly, lads, like I swear to you, he can play 6. But it's a proper old school 6. Obviously, you're sitting. He's not doing a Declan Rice job for you there. You know what I mean? Where Declan Rice is almost box to box.
He actually does that. When I've watched him this season, especially Garth, he does that.
Yeah,
he moves into that 6 quite a lot.
Yeah,
he's an inverted fullback. He is an inverted fullback.
That little bit, and he drops in. Yeah.
I think we have seen a bit more. I think we have seen a bit more this season of Timber's old school kind of right back positioning. We have seen that, and it was needed. He needs to link up more with Saka, and attacking wise, he will improve. Look, walking from a garden the other day, just blissfully thinking about Arsenal as they were top of the league, swooning over the players and how good they've been so far. And I was like, look, it's going to be a crazy statement, all right? And you're going to probably do whatever, clip it, whatever, don't care. But he reminds me, if Ashley Cole was a right back, it's Yuri and Timber. Now, and that's just because of the way defensively he's so sound. Yes, he's good going forward, but that's not his main attribute. He's got the attributes to be, or the potential to be, Arsenal's best ever right back. Like, easily. Yeah. He's got the potential to be Arsenal's best ever right back.
I think he's close to being it now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but it comes with time.
You got the trophies as well. You to be trophy laden. Yeah,
you do.
Like it does. I know. I know, but you do like to be casting that.
You do.
Listen, for me, and Kieran will know how high this praise is. You're saying Ashley Cole. For me, he reminds me of Lillian Thuram. Like maybe not strong, but that defensive ability, the ability to move into the centre. Like he isn't the best going forward, but he's still got a bit about him. Like I honestly, I really do. I think I see him. I get you saying about Ashley Cole. I do. I think obviously Ashley Cole is the best left back in Premier League history, and he's right up there as one of the best left backs of all time. So, but yeah, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. Was it 30 mil? Was it?
Yeah,
20 something mil.
Bargain.
Yeah. In today's market, I mean, if someone wanted to buy him tomorrow, you're talking 80 mil now.
Yeah,
like minimum 80 mil.
And there's two clubs he can go to, 3. Like
Real Madrid, Man United.
Real Madrid. Belly laugh.
someone who's like you mentioned Ashley Cole, and you sort of shoehorned him into a right back, and I get that scenario, and you think about it, and you think, yeah, but when you mentioned like what club, you could go to, and you mentioned, well, we sort of glazed over sort of Real Madrid and Barcelona, and I was just about to say Bayern Munich. I never see Philipp Lahm enough, but a lot of people say to me very similar in the way they play.
Yeah,
very good at right back.
Their positional sense,
middle, not wonderful technically, but the actual sort of like the way he was, switched on defensively, brilliant. The way he could play into midfield, probably a little bit less, but still he was well class in both those areas.
Yeah,
but not wonderful going forward, not as good as the other two, but still very good, if you like.
Yeah, an honest player.
Philipp Lahm's the best inverted right back of all time, and this is how good Yuri and Tim is doing, because we're talking about, and it's not ridiculous. It isn't. But it isn't ridiculous.
We're kind of like that around it, because when you mention these names, you don't want to.
But he hasn't had the career yet.
You can now.
He hasn't had the career yet. Once he starts winning stuff, which listen. I know you two boys don't want to say it. Yeah, I'm touching wood for you, like the table, before anyone gets a bit dirty about that. The table. But listen, like you've already said, this is your best chance. This is like you had a couple of good seasons where you were getting close, but other teams were rocking as well. Liverpool look like they're crumbling's the wrong word. They're shaky at the moment. Man City are in a transition period. There's no reason apart from luck that will stop you from winning things this season. I'm not going to say the league or the Champions League, but I think you should be having your sights set on trophies this year, 100%. There's no with the squad you've got, with the backup you've now got, and the best thing is as well, like what I love. I was thinking about this the other day, like when Man United were doing really well, like I was looking at players like Mikhail Silvestri and being like, he's well good actually, because your team's doing well, everyone's up. Like of course you had Silvestri, so you know what I mean, but he's solid. You've got a lot of them players now in the backup. Marino, solid. He's solid. You know what I mean? In Campe, you haven't seen him yet, but he's solid. Kai Havertz, I'd put him in that bracket as well. He's solid. Trossard, solid. You know what I mean? Plus, and then you've got your first teamers there. I mean, you've got a case to say you've got a couple of world classes in there now. Bukayo Saka for me is world class. Like, he's world class. Saliba and Gabriel are world class defenders. I think Declan Rice has got a little bit more to do, but he's on the cusp of it. When he plays really well, there's a lot of people. I've seen some people turn on Declan Rice recently, which I found weird because I think he does a good job, like what he's meant to do, and he's world class in what he does. Is what I'm trying to say. He's on the cusp of that in what he's meant to do. So you're getting close. There's no two ways about it. You're getting close.
I think the thing with the Declan Rice thing at the moment is they're expecting all action from Declan Rice, and when he is on form and he's best in that more advanced position, you do get all action Declan Rice. You get and his game has improved since that Real Madrid game. It flicked a switch in him. Like before that, he was good. After that, he's been a different level, and he's been a different level in anywhere he plays. You play him in the 8, he brings that side of the game. Like the other day, you saw a goal for West Ham when he had to advance a bit more forward. He had opportunities to get an assist. When he's playing in that 6, he's quietly excellent. He's just cleaning up. He's just running around everywhere. He was playing in the 6 against Newcastle, and he's sprinting from one end of the pitch to the other to win the ball back around the edge of the area.
That's where I've got him on the cusp of world class. I think, for me personally, he's on the cusp of a world class 6. And I think there's work to do in the 8 position for him. He's still young. It'll come to it. It's also a more mature position, the 8. You've got to have a lot more, to be a world class 8. You've got to be one of the best footballers in the world, and he ain't quite at that level. But as a 6, I don't think there's many flaws to his game. I really don't. I can't think of any anyway. But yeah, look, your team's sit, and this is what I try and say. Like when you're rocking, when your team's doing well, when everyone's happy, when the fans are on side, you can look at players that are just a bit above average and be like, they are well good. You know, like me, I used to win titles with John O'Shea and Wes Brown. Yeah. Because you need. And I've said this for years, don't I? You need these players. And I do think that's what Arsenal were missing for the last couple of years. You had the first team, but you didn't have those players that are willing to do 20, 25 games a season without grumbling, without throwing their toys out their pram to help you win the titles and be happy is the wrong word, but content with knowing that they're a squad player and that in reality, they're not going to get into being a first team player unless there's injuries.
And I think this is what when Mikel Arteta is saying things like finishers, I think he's trying to make sure everyone feels like they're involved. Everyone's going to play a part in this, and that's a sign of what a good manager has to do. They've got to make sure everyone around the team feels a part. They're seeing the players who are injured having laughs and jokes and enjoying the fact that their team's winning. Like those little things, that togetherness is what's hopefully going to help us get over the line by the end of the season. A big part of our problem previously was that second half of the season and our players just running out of steam, not having enough options, fatigue, injuries start to set in. You're overplaying players because you need them. You looked at our bench last season against West Ham towards the end of the season, and it had 4 youth players that have never played first team football and will never play first team football for Arsenal, if we're going to be honest. And a couple of other youngsters on the bench. And I think at one time we had 2 goalkeepers as well. Like it wasn't good last season when you're looking at the strength. But now it's night and day. It's absolutely crazy. And now we're talking about how we're going to fit those players in the team. Quickly before we move on to Man United, Steve, Victor Gyökeres, 3 goals this season so far, but questions over many things, his ability to his touch, his movement. What's your thoughts on him so far?
Yeah, I mean, I've been pleased with him. As you said, 3 goals, 1 assist. I've watched him closely every game, probably more closely than any of the Arsenal players. And yeah, 3 goals, 1 assist. He works incredibly hard. And yeah, I mean, people will try and find faults in him because, I don't know, it seems to be what people like to do, doesn't it? You know, in this country, you know, when the new signing comes, they do their best to find the slightest little fault. But if you was to know what Victor Gyökeres was in Sporting, he was what I would call a battering ram of a centre forward who needed literally two, 3 people on him at a time to stop him. And since he's been at Arsenal, it's been like that. because for me, he scored 3 goals, like you said. As soon as he don't score a goal, it's Gokaroos hasn't scored, which is sad, really, because that's just ridiculous conversation. But look, I'm pleased with him. For me, he's been a menace in every single game, and yeah, look, more goals. I'm guaranteed that more goals will come. And the point, I'd like to make is that for many years there's been this thing where we spoke about on here, and a lot of rivals saying you need a striker, you need this striker. So when Gorkis has come in, automatically people who are watching thinking, well, he's only scored 3. Why only scored 5? Why only scored 6? Why did he miss that? They're not watching anything else. They're just trying to look. They're just looking at figures, and they don't look at what he is or think about what the player is and what he does for the team or what Mikel Arteta wants him to do. When you play for a team where every single player on the pitch is capable of scoring a goal, where half of them are capable of getting over 10, 12 goals a season, he's not going to hit 20, probably 25 this season. He might get 15, he might get 16. But just like the West Ham game, they just couldn't live with him. They was like people were two players, 3 players on him at a time, and that was leaving space for Eze, and that was leaving more space for Saka. And they were the ones that were doing damage. It will leave more space for other players, Odegaard. And they will be better. But he's not going to score 30 goals. He's not going to score every week. As long as he's playing well, as long as he's contributing to the team, as long as he's getting a goal here and there, if we're sitting top of the league, who gives a damn? But he's an important player. He's needed up there to do a job. Personally, I know what the job he wants to do. And that's to be part of the team. And look, that's why I've always been so wary of the past of people saying you need a striker. Yes, as it comes towards, a point where I was liking, yeah, maybe we could do with someone, who can be more of a focal point, someone who can take defenders away more, people can worry about. Havertz, yes, but people definitely 2 people have not been marking Havertz since he's been there. Little things like that. So, yeah, look, I'm pleased with Gorky's. Just for me, what I'd say, just carry on what you're doing, mate. And the more goals will come. And if they don't, and you're contributing to the game, and we're sitting top of the league and we win the title, then he's doing his job.
Yeah. With Victor Gyökeres, I had my concerns before the season, and then when he first started, those concerns were coming to the fore, and I was actually a bit worried. But as games have gone on, it was good that he got his goals out of the way early, because otherwise, internet's stupid, and that's an unneeded added pressure if you're a striker and you haven't got that goal under your belt. But I was really impressed with him against Newcastle. I thought he had a good game against Galatasaray. But the games like West Ham, they're the games that I want to see him start scoring in. Games even against Newcastle, they're the games I want to see him start scoring in. And he's getting opportunities as well. And I know there's a lot of people that were hung their hat on Victor Gyökeres and probably were quite vocal when it came to the other people who wanted a Sesko or someone different. And they're probably using there's a bit of copium out there. But it works both ways. I'm seeing a lot of discourse where people are saying that we need to find him, we're not doing this, we're not learning him. But then you're completely ignoring the opportunity that Max Dowman set up for him first time against Port Vale in the cup, where he should have taken it out of his feet and smashed it in the back of the net, or at least tested the goalkeeper. So I think it works both ways. But I am encouraged by what I've seen more recently. But he needs for him to bag goals in the Premier League on a more of a regular basis. He needs to be peak physical fitness, peak sharpness. and he's just off it still. He's just off it. You've seen the difference between when he first came in and now. His face is a lot more slender. You can tell his chest and his backside is not as big anymore. He looks a lot lighter, but there's still more to go. And that level of sharpness is that split second in taking that shot. Is that do I take that the first time? Do I open my feet, take a touch? He needs to cut that out. He needs to get that snapshot quicker. It's little things like that which will come over time, which he needs to improve on. But overall, if you are going to be honest about the things that I'm not seeing enough of and the things that I have been good, I think it's quite balanced. And I think over a little bit more time, I think we'll see him score goals because he's getting in them positions now, but he's just taking an extra touch or he's just not getting it out of his feet quick enough. And that is the sharpness that we're talking about. With the Victor Gyökeres we see in the pictures where he's all ripped and screaming, that's him towards the end of the season. Like that Victor Gyökeres we're not going to see until late November, December time. So yeah, but there have been a bit more encouraging signs from when, and it's eased my concerns about his gameplay, which I was worried about. I'm not expecting a Zlatan Ibrahimovic to glide around and bosh people. I am expecting a bosher, but in those moments, he needs to be more clinical. And I think that will come.
Yeah.
Any take on the... Go.
No, mate.
No, I was going to say there's a great article on the BBC website that came out today, which is well worth your time reading about Victor Gyökeres. What he's doing. I think there are some worries, lads. He scored in 2 games out of 10. It's a penalty, one of his goals as well. I think I'm one of these people that think Arsenal have needed a striker for a long time, and it's not so much about scoring a lot of goals. It's what you were saying, Keir, which is it's games where it's tight. It's very tight, and you need someone to hit a winner in. But I think there's enough. The article is very fair. It lays it all out, and it says that the signs, exactly what you said, Keir, the signs are there that he will be effective in the end. Arteta's changed his style of play a little bit to find him more. He also comments exactly what you're saying, Steve, about it's not just about him scoring goals, it's also about what he's doing in the games, bringing other players in, taking defenders away, which is something that I used to say as well. That's what's needed is what Havertz didn't do. Yeah. When you need a number 9 to do that, which is exactly what he's saying, which is drag a defender out of the way so Saka or someone can get in. So that, yeah, he hasn't scored in 6. That's never great for a striker. Yeah. You know, I mean, like you want to keep the goals rolling, just to keep your forward, because strikers, whatever anyone says, we all rate our strikers on how many goals they score, and I'm sure strikers think that themselves deep. You know what I mean? But look, I like him as a player. I think he's suited to the Premier League personally. Exactly the opposite to what I was saying with Verts. I think he's burly. I think he's got a bit about him. I think he will, once his touch improves. He's going to do bits of things.
Championship, and he go. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, of course, yeah. But he does need to be scoring more regularly.
I agree.
Otherwise people will get on him.
I wonder if there's a touch of the Lukaku's and the Adi Akinbayes about when he came over. I wonder whether he overthought it and bulked up a little bit because he was so big when he came in. And if you see him in the Championship, he's not that. He's not that. He's stocky, but he's nippy. He's more agile. When he came in, he was like, boom, boom. And I was like, cool, he's a big boy because he's tall as well. And I was like, he's a little bit too big. Like he's a little bit too big. He doesn't look like he's built like a footballer right now. And I just my own feeling. I think he could have thought, I'm going to the Premier League. I need to be boshing it around. And I think he might have overthought it and added a few too many pounds.
Plus that lack of pre-season hasn't helped him either.
Plus a lack of pre-season. He was out for 3 months.
Pre-season. Like, if you don't think that's an issue for a player, then you've got no ball knowledge. Yeah. Of course, it's a big issue for a lot of players now. If they don't get that pre-season in, you're not hitting the ground running, you're sluggish to start, and then you're always catching up with the rest. Like, you're always catching up. But they're like, I think he's a decent acquisition. I think he'll do well for you. And when he does start coming good, was it yourself that said it, Keir, to me? He needs to start taking more snapshots.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to just, like, turn, have a pop. Like,
he's got that once, bang.
Yeah, he's got that finishing ability. He's clinical. We know he's clinical from what we've seen of him in Portugal. I don't like. Yeah, the league's weak out there, but you don't score nearly 100 goals in 2 years. Yeah, we're not being clinical. So yeah, yeah. But honestly, any Arsenal fan who hasn't read it yet, go read the it come out today. So if you just type in Gorkrez, you'll find it online. Very well reasoned conversation about Gorkrez. Very well reasoned conversation, and it's not slating him.
I think it's a mixture of many things. I think every point that we've made here, I think you can say is valid. Do you know what I mean? I think the main thing, I think Arsenal have got to, and that goes to Gorkrez as well. You know, just going on from the point you made, because he's got to do his bit and all. I think they've got to get used to him, because we've watched Arsenal for God knows how many years, and we've never had a striker like this.
And you can see they struggled in the early days to find him, to play that ball straight away. It was like, we're seeing 100%. It, but that's not what 100%. They do. They don't just go kick the ball and then clip it to Havertz. They get the ball, get it wide, Havertz, then they play it back, then play it to create space, and then Havertz is in the box and tucks it in.
Times I was getting annoyed with Saka. I was going, oh, would you shoot? Like, crazy. Do they know? I mean, I think I actually tweeted. Do they actually, someone made a point about Gorkrez. I said, well, first of all, the players have got to realise they've got the number 9 there in the team.
Yeah.
Because they've got to learn. He may be having to do his bit. All the points I think may have been valid. The fact that he should have done more. The fact that he's got to take snapshots. Yeah. I think everything points valid. But I think a big one is them getting used to it. Them giving him the chances. If he starts getting the chances, look, he's making the runs. He's getting into the positions. Just like you said, kids, it's just that little bit of sharpness that seems off. And if you miss in the pre-season and you're getting used to new players and you're at a new club, then for me, that's standard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You are going to be a little bit messy. Do you know what I mean? You are going to be like, whether it's his fault for not being ready or not, but you are going to be ready. But I like the runs he's making. He works hard.
Yeah.
I think it's that. I think it's the players need to get used to having him number 9, getting used to what he does, getting used to the runs he makes, and that will come. And as you say, the sharpness and that will come also. But at the moment, from looking at him from the start of the season, he's getting better week by week. But like Garth said as well, just need the goals to come. But they'll come once the other things that I've just mentioned
it's fair.
Into place. Come together.
That's fair.
Yeah, they will. It's just and I like his attitude. He hasn't stopped running, even though he hasn't received them passes. He's still running in the 89th minute.
Well, are we doing a Mr. Cardio here? Is that what we're doing?
Don't give me that. This is not a floor reverse, mate. He's got 3 goal contributions.
He's making about the ball.
Player of the year so far. I'm gonna have to say floor reverse. The amount of forward runs has been phenomenal. The way he goes around the pitch, unbelievable, Bob.
It was a nice little flick he did for us when he come on. I must admit.
That was, you know what it was. Yeah, that flick was nice.
When he comes as a sub, it's almost not like we're talking about the rest of his game. Just stick to that. No, we're not doing averts. We're not doing averts. But I have seen a bit of copium. A lot of people pointing at the players and the manager, and I'm thinking, Port Vale, Max Dowman, 2 seconds into being on, he put a ball over the top, 1-on-1, took too long, got tackled. So let's not just blame the players there. It works both ways. But I expect to see more from him before the end of the season. Before we go, we have to talk about Manchester United because they won. We cannot add off on it and not talk about Manchester United. Victory at home against Sunderland. 2-0 victory, was it?
2-0. Clean sheet.
Victory, clean sheet. New goalkeeper. Tell us how you feel right now, Garth. You got to watch matches today. In the same weekend that Liverpool lost.
It was delicious. Yeah, it was delicious. I can't lie. Look, Sunderland have done well this season. Obviously, they're up the table. It's only the second defeat they've had, but it's still a newly promoted side at Old Trafford. I'm expecting a win, no matter what. so I don't want to get too excited about it. The positives, definitely the goalkeeper. This is how starved we've been for the last couple of years of a goalkeeper that could do the basics. I'm seeing highlight clips of him making just routine saves, taking the ball out of the air. Like, the Spurs were singing "Oh, you Schmeichel in disguise" after one high ball. You know what I mean? I think they forgot the Schmeichel got lobbed all the time. But anyway, good debut for him. You know what? For a goalkeeper, it must have been a nice debut because a couple of saves, routine, should be making those saves, but there's still good saves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you've still got to get to them. You've still got to show your ability, the high balls. So, yeah, Lemons looked decent. There was a slight, and you'd only notice it if you watch Man United week in, week out, there was a slight tweak to the system, not the formation, the actual way of playing, which was we were giving more direct balls to Sesko, trusting him more to back into a player and take a ball down and hold on to it, allowing Mount and Mbeumo, Ahmed and Dallo to get up into forward positions for him to lay it off to him. It worked very nicely. And listen, if he's able to do that against Sunderland with the likes of Granit Xhaka and oh god, I've forgotten the other geezer's name now, but you know what I mean, more brutey players on your harassing you. That's good signs. Sesko scoring again, another good sign. He needs to start doing more as well. But a bit like what Steve said with Gorka, we've got to find him more, and that's what we did. We did in the Sunderland game. So Mount, listen, this system don't work without Mason Mount in the team. Pure and simple. That's what it comes down to. Because as good as Cunha and Mbeumo are, and I'm sure most people will say that they are technically better players than Mount, they don't have what Mount does, which is the harassing, the dirty job, the dirty yards, the hard yards, the chasing every ball. You know what I mean? They're there to attack the goal, period. Whereas Mount's far more take a touch, turn, pass it off, get other players in. He scored a lovely goal as well. Mount does. I think almost every one of his goals has been take the ball, one touch, spin.
That's why Southgate always played him, Gar.
Of course,
We when the World Cup was on, I remember us sitting on here, sort of, why do you keep playing Mount? We need Grealish in, we need Foden in. What's going on? But we're not always right. Most of the time we are. But, maybe he had, maybe that was the reason why he played him.
Yeah, he's a system player. There's no talks about him. Yeah. No, he's All right, to be fair, listen, I'm at that stage now where I'm actually like a lot of people aren't. I never wanted Southgate, but that's a different conversation. But if we were to sack our room tomorrow, that's who I'd want to come in to steady the ship, to be quite honest with you, someone like that over a Xavi or
Look, we can go them fancy fandango kind of managers, but Man United right now need that reset button. They need David Boys right now. Like they need somewhere just relatable, something that they know. This is what you're getting. You're getting your meat and two veg. Is what that's what they need, and they need to. While they're doing that, while they're doing that, they need to then get rid of the people on the high wages. They need to get rid of the people that are just trying to get there, put in a decent couple of performances and get that extended contract. Like, get them off the books and then start getting your honest players in. Players on less wages, but are suited to the team. Exactly what you need. Right attitude. And that's how you start to do the rebuild. Right now, it's still that sort of trying to fix the foundations whilst trying to fix
while still building.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And you're seeing that. And what will happen is the players that you are getting in, that are the honest players, that are the right players to the team, they're getting dragged down because they're not being able to play the right way because the team's not functioning well. Prime example is Mason Mount. I've always been a fan of Mason Mount. I love the way he plays. He's that honest player. He's that player that every manager likes. You're giving him instruction, and whatever position you play him, he's gonna do that. Now his game's been pulled down because your midfield's not right, and you try to chop and change, and you don't know where you're going with this, or your defense ain't right. So look, right now you need stability. You need a few wins on the trot. Start to get a bit of momentum. Start to get that confidence up. Bring a bit more fear into teams, and they don't want to come at you at your home ground and things like that. Like it's a slow process, but right now Man United sitting in 10th. It sounds crazy, but that is progression, and it's step by step.
Did Ugarte
No, it was Casemiro. And this is what I was about to say about Mount. The thing that Mount also brings is it allows us to have the two centre midfielders have a little bit more. What's the one I'm looking for? They're not as exposed as Cunha and Mbeumo in the 10s because Mount obviously drops a little deeper and does the harassing, like I'm saying. Like Cunha does it as well, but the difference is Cunha does it, gets the ball, loses it because he wants to run directly at the goal because that's the player he is. You know, I mean, I'm not. I don't want to take that away from him.
He never played then. He didn't play the.
Do you know what you've got? I can't actually remember now. To be fair, man, let me just if it did. I'm sure it's Casemiro. Have I got that completely wrong? Yeah, it was Cas. Did he come on? He come on for the last 5 minutes. Last 5.
No, sure.
Yeah,
but yeah. It's interesting with him because Ugarte was a funny signing. I mean, if you're gonna, I think I said right from when Man United signed him. If you're gonna play Ugarte every week, you got to know who he is and what he is. You know what I mean? I didn't know who he was. Again, a colleague of mine. Who reports on French football said that he's great, Ugarte, but he's a bosher, he's a destroyer.
He's there for certain games.
He's to pass the ball off, and that's it. If you want him to pass the ball, if you want him to progress it up the field, then don't buy him. He'll be useless. But for the other thing, he went as far as saying one of the top players of Europe doing that. You know, once he gets
as a destroyer.
So.
Yeah, as a destroyer, Steve. Having watched him for about a year now, I think in a 4 at the back, 3 in midfield with 1 number 6, he'd be perfect in that 6. But in a 2-man midfield, when you're playing Cunha, this is what I'm saying about Matt. When you're playing Cunha and Mbeumo in the 10s, who are picking the ball up and licking upfield and leaving a massive gap between midfield and attack.
Yeah,
he got it. And the problem he got is because he hasn't got those 40-yard diags, the lobs over the back line. He's taking an extra second on the ball to have a look about. Bang! He's lost the football. You ain't got that time in the Premier League. Yeah. So like we're not playing at all to his strengths. I think I agreed with you at the time when you were saying, Steve. I said if you remember when you were saying, I'm like, yeah. From what I know of Ugarte, if you think he's coming in and he's going to be the man that turns this club around as the centre midfielder, as the centre midfielder we've been crying for, the ball carrying, the Kante, the Declan Rice, it ain't him. He ain't that man at all. But no, as a destroyer, he does very well.
Yeah, he was very similar. I got the sort of same reaction. We were talking earlier about Florence Wirtz when you were, he could do this, he could do that if you put him here. But if you're doing this, he might could be turn out to be a bit of a dud. Yeah. So it's just playing him the right way. But,
and again, if we put even in this formation, if you put and I think this is what Amram was thinking of putting Bruno there. The problem with Bruno is Bruno takes loads of chances. So he creates loads of chances, but what people who don't only watch the highlights don't see is the 5 balls where he's passed it over there and there's no one there, or the back heel he's tried to give him straight away to another player, and then Ugarte's struggling. So look, quickly before we go though, the flaws are still there at Man United. This was a decent win, a solid win. There's still defensive frailties. Dalot still getting caught out of position. We still ain't got them wing backs sorted. Ahmed getting caught out of position. When we brought Cunha on, it completely changed the balance of the team. It completely changed the balance of the team. We moved Bruno up there, and again, Bruno's different to Mount as well. And this is what I mean. Mount is Mount is one of my favourites. People in our groups do take the mick a little bit, but you think he's that good, don't you? No, he's a system player and he works in this system, is what it is. So I'm struggling to see long term how
sexy is he? People sometimes all
exactly
now is the sexy
which is what you got with Cunha, and you're saying that Cunha's all right, but you're seeing a couple of highlight reel moments where he gets the ball on the turn, takes it down and spins, does a step over, puts it through a player's leg that you can put on slow-mo with a bit of background music. But what did that impact the game? It didn't. And Mark's impact on the game has been more, which you don't see a highlight from because it's not, as Steve said, it's not sexy. And that's what you're getting.
The other thing with Cunha, listen, I'm sticking to this, is at Wolves you look much better than you are, because it doesn't matter if you lose at Wolves. So your highlights are going to look amazing. But start watching Wolves for 90 minutes. Before your team buys a Wolves player, Start watching 90 minutes of that player, and you'll see them the amount of mistakes they make in that game, and where they lose the ball time and time again. You're not seeing it. You're just seeing the one drive down the line. And this is what I don't think there's a single Wolves player that has been hyped up at Wolves that's gone somewhere else and been anywhere near as good as they were at Wolves. And I've been saying that for a while now. When you think like I really don't. Like, what's the one Man City bought? Mateus Nunes. Nunes.
Oh, Nunes.
Mateus Nunes. Like, people ain't Nori, people banging on Pedro Neto. He was Wolves, weren't he? Yeah. Jimenez. You know, I mean, they were asking for 100 mil for Jimenez at one point. And I like Jimenez. I like Jimenez. I thought Arsenal should have signed him at one point. But they just... It's a lot of highlight reels with the Wolves players. They're very good footballers, but do they work in a system that you want for your squad? And a lot of time I'm seeing now. And look, people think I've got something against Cunha. I don't. I just don't think we needed him. I really don't with the team that we've got.
They're good. Wolves are good technically. You know, as you say, if you do a highlight reel, if you're watching like,
great.
You could every single game that they play, you could pick out probably like a 5-minute highlight reel where you'd be going, oh, the flick, the turn, the 30-yard ball, but they got beat 3-1 or something.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly right. You succinctly put it right. Exactly that. Yeah, Cunha would have played an 8.5, but Wolves got beat 3-1. Like, that's exactly right. Yeah, exactly right with a lot of these players. You know what I mean? So yeah, look, I just don't think we needed him, and we're being improved. I'm being improved by the fact he's on the bench. You know what I mean? And and Buemo's doing much better than him. He's Mbeumo has integrated himself into this squad a lot better. Look, Cunha's a great player. I'm not saying he isn't. But I've got a feeling you might see him being one of the Man United players that ends up at Napoli in a couple of years, because Napoli want all our players. Like, that's where Kobe Maino's going now as well, by the sounds of things. So, I just
win a Ballon d'Or, yeah?
Yeah, at the moment, every player Man United are trying to sell, Napoli are like, oh,
yeah.
They wanted to go on that show, didn't they?
United tactics, but it's the good side of things. When it's not like you're losing too much value on your players, because they're looking at it and going, Man United aren't in a bad way. We might be able to get a player at a lot less than what we would have had normally. Like, we might be able to do something with him because he's just at Man United. So, it's
about confidence.
Sorry, I don't want to come across like I'm that's a little harsh, Stu. A little harsh, mate, but I understand what you're saying. Naples is lovely. It is lovely in Naples. So, I don't want to come across negative. It was a solid win. It's not like Sunderland the Shrubs. There was tweaks to the system that I liked the look of. The flaws are still there. I am beginning, and I've been thinking this before this win as well, and I don't mean this, I'm beginning to wonder whether we ride it out until the end of the season with Amorim and just see, like, if he's willing to change a little bit, then I've got more hope in him. If he continues with this stubbornness of I'm doing, like what he said, the Pope couldn't make me change, then he's got to go because it ain't working. Yeah. But there was a tiny little
players, Garth. I think you got to give him these players. I think you got to give Mance back fit. Do you know what I mean? I think you got to see him with Mance on the side. Hopefully,
and some wing backs.
Yeah.
Get a couple more in January.
It's that.
Sesko looks like
out
some confidence.
Yeah.
And
it's terrible, lads. It is terrible.
Is win loss, win draw, win draw loss. Like, it's going to be a sticky season. It's 10th to 8th. Yeah. That's riding it out. It's going to be tough. He can't have
15th. He can't have 15th again. That's the big problem.
No way. That was disgusting. Like, I would give up on football, mate. Honestly, 8th was a struggle for me for those 2 seasons. It was horrible.
I think if he finishes I think by Christmas, if he's in like 10th and you're still 10th, then I think, give him.
You're 3 points off 5th. You're 3 points off Man City at the end of the day.
Yeah. Look, I agree with you, Steve. If we're in top half come Christmas, then you can't sack him. If we're down in 15th, 16th at Christmas, then obviously it's then he's only got himself to blame. And my point is that he could make it easier on himself by changing the formation here and there for certain games. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Quickly before we go, Garth, Sesko, how's the progression been?
Decent. Like I said, we brought him into the game a lot better against Sunderland because I was worrying, as I've said for a few weeks, are worried for him because he's exactly the same profile of striker as Højlund.
Yeah.
And he's better than Højlund, but he's got the same. But we weren't utilising Højlund, and that's one of my big things about the Sunderland game. It felt like we had changed something to utilise him a bit more. I can.
Definitely
He ain't wrong though. He ain't wrong at all because Naples is. If you ain't been Naples, go Naples. It is lovely. But yeah. Cisco, look, one game, so we'll go. Yeah, they're 100% against you, 100% right, mate. It was bigger sample size, but the Lemons looked. But again, this is how first, let's say, how hungry, how starving we were for a goalkeeper that can do the basics. Because all he did was the basics. Like nothing was special. Nothing was. There was no game-winning save or anything. It was a long drive from Xhaka. We was going bottom corner, solid, good save. But and there was the one at the end. I forget who broke through where he stood firm. Solid save. The difference is Onana would have jumped 7 feet the other way, and Brian would have knocked himself out of his own fist. So, I was going to say, for a goalkeeper, take the ball from there.
Yeah, for a goalkeeper, that's exactly the kind of debut you want. It's a couple of nice catches, couple of high catches, couple of simple saves, organised defence, clean sheet. It's what you want. You don't need blockbuster right there. You need steady Eddie, catch me the ball, make a couple of routine saves.
He looks
got confidence in me now that I can do the basics.
Yeah, Stu's got the right word there. It's assured. He looked assured, 100%. So yeah, he looked short. And Sesko looked better. I had my worries, but I saw a much better version of him against Sunderland.
I'd respect it, even though United in an early form, but refatting Journo.
Ref baiting and journo banning days of Fergie. They're the good days, mate. What are you talking about?
Look, Stu, thank you for joining us there. Join us at 8:00 next time. Get involved. Get involved. I'm being attacked by my cat. Sorry. Get off. I've got a new cat and it's attacking me.
Oh, yeah, was it 4-1 against Barca, wasn't it? 4-1 against Barca at the weekend?
Sevilla.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He supports Sevilla. Yeah, 4-1. Yeah, they go pipe in Barcelona. Yeah, smashed them up. Yeah, fair play. Your cat is violent, Keir, isn't it, mate? Your cat is like violent. Dartford cat.
Oh, man, I'm sweating. I'm sweating. Proper claws out. What are you doing? Bugger off. I've been attacked by my cat. Right, I need to go so I can call the exterminator or something like that.
Again, right. Joke. We started with kicking dogs and we ended with killing cats. Is that what you're saying, Nicky? You know? Thank you for joining us tonight. Hit that like and subscribe if you are new to the show. If you are a regular, hit that like and subscribe. If you are, go away.
You are there.
He's actually attacking me. Yeah. Jesus. What is wrong with
you see his legs go underneath him. Like,
don't get one of them shelter cats. Don't get one of them. He was feral. He's fine now. No. If I even duck down, it goes. And it goes for my face. It's nuts, mate. It bounces around the house. Like, yeah. Whew. I'm sweating. If you're on TikTok, go and follow Kieran. You see, I'm right now. Kieran AFC. If you are, and you can follow the Transfer Exchange show as well. Make sure you go and follow Steve on Twitter and also follow Garth on TikTok and on Twitter as well. We've also got if you're into TV, movies, shows, and anything like that, go and follow Below Line Media as well. Get involved. Before my cat kills me, and if I do, if you don't see me tomorrow, it was the cat. Do you know what? I've watched enough horror movies to be worried about what this cat's doing right now. Has anyone seen? Is it Cats, the Stephen King version?
Yeah. I've got a scary movie in my mind, mate, where she's having the boxing match with the cat. Is what I've got in my mind now.
All right. Thank you for joining us tonight, people.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Oh my God, my cat's going to kill me. And wash your hands.